Oh yeah. And now from North Platte High School Studio B, welcome to Bulldog Banter, where students, stakeholders, and alumni come together to traverse the transformative power of education. This week's episode sponsored by the North Platte Public Schools Foundation and the Flower Market.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bulldog Banter. I'm Maddie Hildebrand.
I'm Reagan Lampy.
And this is the podcast where we talk about all things North Platte.
And do fun stuff.
Today, our guest is Erica Larson-Dockray.
Yay!
Hi.
She is the founder of Cali, Nebraska.
Founding director.
Founding director.
Calibraska.
Calibraska.
What did you say?
I don't know. Something.
Whatever.
We didn't rehearse very good. Sorry. Anyway, so do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about what Calibraska is?
Yeah, totally. So Calibraska is a nonprofit. It has grown into a statewide initiative where we bring professional artists and industry experts to Nebraska to teach in the summer. It originally started from me just coming back home to my home city of Scottsbluff to teach when I lived in LA, and just started teaching all different ages, animation. I was teaching kids in LA all the time, and it just totally made sense to just see if I could do some workshops when I was back home. And now it has expanded to North Platte, obviously, and Kearney in Lincoln, Omaha, and we just added Wayne last year. So
you go to all these places in one summer?
Yes.
And is it real busy?
It's a tour, yeah. So we do like 2 weeks in Lincoln, 1 week in Kearney, 1 week in Scottsbluff, and then 2 weeks here, and then a week in Wayne, and then if we do Omaha, a week there. Yeah, I'm very tired by the end of my summer.
I bet.
Yeah.
What's like your favorite part of Cali, Nebraska?
Oh my gosh. There's like a few different parts. I feel like one of them is definitely teaching kids that I recognize myself in a lot, because I really had to kind of find my way into the animation on my own, and seeing how excited they are to like learn animation, it just like melts my heart that I'm working with these kids that are just like, you can tell they've just been waiting for someone like we bring to just talk to and to learn from, and that sees them in that way. That's definitely one of my favorite parts. And my second is like, I get to bring all of my amazing friends who are in the industry and who are teaching artists, and I get to show them Nebraska, which is this sort of, I mean, it's not totally unexpected, but it's really cool to be like a tourist in my home state a little bit and show them all of these things, and then also see their like eyes light up about like, you know, Carhenge and Cody Park and Pal's Brewing. You know, like they love it here, and that's really cool. Those are my favorite parts.
I can't imagine like not having Willie and not having that like person. So I think it's really cool that you're like allowing kids to have that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, y'all are lucky.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us like how you got into animation and what your schooling was like?
Yeah, so it was very complicated because I came from a family in ag. I was really the only creative, like artistically creative. My parents were incredibly creative when it came to ag, right, and to community building. It was just a little different, and it was very foreign to them about having a kid who wanted to go out of state to study. So my first 2 years, I went to the University of Nebraska and studied graphic design, and that establishment helped me beyond in all of the other avenues I went into. And then after I did 2 years in Lincoln, because that was the deal I made with my parents, I went to Phoenix, to the Art Institute of Phoenix, which was a really trade school. I'd highly recommend not going to those schools. But it was a 4-year, it was like a quarter system. It was a grind. And that's where I did an internship at a game studio called Rainbow Studios, which was really cool. And then before I graduated, I got a job working at a motion graphics studio, and actually through my English professor. So be friends with all of your faculty out there. And I really, really loved it. working on stuff for BMW, music videos, and it was really great. And then my dad passed away suddenly, so I came back home, and at that point, I had learned that my job at the motion graphics studio was really dependent on my boss like getting more and more work, and he wasn't able to do that. So it was like less and less I was coming into the studio. So it was just kind of like the idea that this was going to be really stable, steady work was very obviously like not really how the industry works. It's really going from either show to show or production to production, which some people that's not an issue. But me, I really wanted something where I didn't have to hustle all the time. So I came back home and I started my business, my own like creative studio. And I also was teaching at like a country school, teaching art. And that's where I really like kind of figured out that I really loved both of those things and decided to pursue a master's to teach college at level so I could still have an art practice, but then have my summers available to do community work. And so I went to Lincoln to build up my portfolio, and that's where I shifted out of just like computer-based graphics to like installation and projecting animation onto my paintings and into jars and interactive work and things like that. And so that got me into CalArts and their experimental animation program and integrated media. And so I moved to LA in 2008, and I just moved back to Lincoln literally this January. But yeah, I've been out in LA that whole time. So yeah, sorry, it's complicated. I told you. Very complicated.
So first, what was it like living in LA?
So we found this like really amazing like area of LA called Val Verde, which is kind of like Nebraska and LA had a baby, because it was like 3,000 people in this little canyon community, and there was ranches, kids rode horses through the streets and like four-wheelers, and but it was like 40 minutes to the beach and an hour to downtown LA, and even like less if we wanted to go see snow. So we found this like really awesome little community, and it's actually up like kind of where CalArts was. We looked into the city, but it was like you'd have to pay for a house that was over 100 years old, like without even knowing. It was really stressful. So we ended up finding this other little community, and we really loved it. Yeah.
How was your transition back to Nebraska, babe?
The weather would be crazy.
Yeah, tell me about it.
We moved in middle of January, and I think by that same time of February, my kids had like 5 snow days.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I had a really hard time trying to work because they were home. We were all home.
It's been really bipolar this year.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I heard.
Yeah, it's usually like that, but this year it's like 87, and then, oh, guys, we're getting a snow day.
Yeah.
Well, and like our snow days haven't even been like, we've only had 3 snow days, and one of the days
Only?
it didn't even snow.
Yeah, that's true.
We
Yeah.
literally didn't go to school and there was no snow.
I heard about that.
So-
Yeah. It's almost like it's gaslighting you, like, what blizzard?
No,
Yeah.
literally.
What are you talking about? It's 50.
It's
beautiful.
sunny. What are
Yeah.
you talking about?
You're
girl?
great, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nebraska's definitely fun.
Yeah. No, it's been so like Lincoln, since I've lived there twice, I've always loved living in Lincoln. But like, so because we lived in this little community, sort of a rural area, like the nearest like grocery store was like 3 miles away. And now we can just like ride our bike to the grocery store, and my kids walk to school, which is just like, I mean, before we were driving 20 minutes in opposite directions. That right there is like a huge game changer. And just, you know, being in a community that's like really creative. There's a lot of people there who really honor education and wanting to like never stop learning is just like really wonderful. Yeah. So we love Lincoln. Yeah. We're excited for the weather to get better to really kind of explore a little bit.
We're right there. We're right at the weather.
I know.
It's so nice out yesterday.
My husband would say this thing where he's like, I don't necessarily feel like I live in Lincoln. I just live in my house. But now we're starting to like go and do things. So it's kind of shifting. Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
How old are they?
I have 6.5 and 15.
Oh, really?
dang.
Yeah.
What are their names?
Raven is my youngest. He just started kindergarten. And Dallas, my oldest, just started his freshman year at Southeast.
So does your older one have any like interest in your field at all?
So yes and no. he is all over the place, but he's in a theater tech program right now, and so he really likes that class. He's done Calibraska every summer, so he always loves doing like the music video camp here, and he knows all the people teaching, so he really loves to just like have all that extra time with them. But he's kind of done it all, and you know, some days he's like wants to do medicine and is a little more like that route or engineering, but he's still kind of finding his way. Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. My husband's also has a background in film, so we're sort of like, you know, we got you if you're like interested in doing it, but it's no pressure, you know, kind of find your own
and
vibe.
like, you know what it's like to be different from your family.
Yes.
So very supportive.
Yeah.
So do you want to like talk about like each of the sections during the camp?
Yeah.
Like the music video and
And
all that?
how people in North Platte can get involved.
Yes, I would love to. So we are going to be here the second and third week of July. Sorry, I don't have the dates on the top of my head, but we are here for 2 weeks. I'll be teaching animation, and I'm also bringing out 2 other teaching artists. The first week, I'm adding a family time animation that's like Tuesday and Thursday mornings for like 5 to 8-year-olds. Because we have kids who are really young who want to do it. So we're doing that. That's new this year. And then I have an animation 1.0 for 9 to 12-year-olds. That's like 10:30 to 12:30. And then the afternoon, I'm doing like an art games, which is just like, I believe that's 7 to 12-year-olds. And it's just about being creative. And then V Sweet, who is my first teaching artist I'm bringing out, she's a faculty at Rochester Institute of Tech. And she's an incredible animator and like the sweetest person. So she's actually teaching a 2D animation camp, and that's like 10 to 4, Monday through Friday. You're going to work in Procreate Dreams on iPads where you get to draw directly onto the screen. It's so much fun. So she's doing that the first week. And then the second week is the music video camp, and that is taught by my good friend Bonna Bones, who has a background. She worked for Robot Chicken for like 5 or 6 seasons, maybe more. And then she just recently moved to Kansas City, and she's taught at the Kansas City Art Institute. She worked at an immersive museum called Rabbit Hole. And she's also a faculty, I believe, at another university in Missouri right now. She's also done like music videos for Lizzo and things like that. So she's going to come out. And then that second week, I'm just going to do 1.0 again, because last year, this is really awesome, I had a waiting list. So I opened up a second section of Animation 1.0 the second week. So I'm doing that again. And then anybody who wants to just get a basics of animation can do it the second week in the afternoon, like for 13 years and up. So there's a lot. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Awesome.
It is.
It's a great opportunity for kids.
I remember you bringing it up to me last year, and I was going to do it, but I don't know why I didn't. I can't remember. I might have been busy or something. Who knows?
Yeah, it happens.
But how would it like benefit the kids that want to go into that major?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, first of all, you get to talk to somebody who is doing it and is in the industry. So you get like a whole heads up on what it's like to be in a big city and work in the industry and be a professional creative. Because a lot of us do more than just one thing. And that's pretty standard now. And so you get to ask them whatever you want, and they are here for that. That's kind of why I have them like come out. That's like they're here to offer advice, and also to our interns. We have this really great internship program too. So our interns also get to work one-on-one and ask them like tips and tricks and things that, you know, they show them their work and they give them feedback on like things they can improve or their strengths, and just kind of letting them know like you have the chops. You can pursue this.
Yeah, I feel like living in Nebraska for kids who want to go into more creative areas, it seems like really unrealistic until they like actually meet people who like did it and achieved it, and then it's I don't know, it's really helpful.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my whole life.
Yeah.
was just like feeling like I can do this, I can make it work. And you just need that one person that's like, you can do this, you can, and this is how. But yeah, it's true.
How do you think it's beneficial to kids who like don't want to go into that major specifically, but like obviously just want to go to school?
Well, I mean, I think that one of the things that's really great here in North Platte is like we have really great funding for scholarships. So like it's really low risk to take the classes, and the creativity that you generate from doing arts. I mean, the research has shown like arts is such a like valuable like practice to do, like to just be creative, because that creativity translates to whatever you do, whether it is ag, whether it's business, whether it's like medical. Like we all have to think creatively in everything we do. And if you are being creative in your job, you're going to be a lot happier instead of just like a cog in the wheel, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, because I for sure like to be creative, but I'm probably the least artistic person you'll ever meet. So,
Like, now, what do you mean by that?
no, like I can't draw. Like I'm not just saying that. Like I genuinely am. I took art my freshman year, and that was like the only class that I was ever like, I'm gonna get a B in this class.
Well, I'm here to tell you that art is much more than drawing. And
Okay,
also,
well-
you do not have to be good at drawing to do animation. That was one thing that was a preconceived notion that I thought. And no, you do not. If you want to do character animation, yes. However, there are so many other types of animation out there where you can work with clay, you can work with puppets that do not require drawing. And it's really 2D animation is like really the main one that you're drawing more. But like, honestly, there's so many different types of animation out there. So you are artistic.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite project that you've like ever done? Like something that's like you'll never forget it.
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, my thesis was like at Cal Arts for my master's was epic. It was very epic. So, and this was like a film program, mind you. And they knew when they accepted me that I did installation work and more experiential stuff. So I really had to kind of fight a little bit to make my work there. But my thesis was I literally created an amusement park. And it was about my experience having my first kiddo. And I created like interactive stations about pregnancy, and then 7 different rooms that were about our journey. And it was, each room was totally different. And you interacted with projection and animation in a different way. I even hired actors to act like animatronics, like robots. That was definitely like big.
That's
But also really
amazing.
like, if I can talk about like the project that I'm doing right now is really great because I'm designing animation of like different sea creatures from the Pacific Northwest and tropical areas. And they're being projected onto wallpaper like of coral reefs at the Birch Aquarium in San Diego. That one's really fun. It's a very sweet project. So that one's like right now, but definitely my thesis was probably the biggest thing I've ever done.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
It was epic.
I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
So, like, just any more advice you want to give to not just kids that want to go into these type of majors, but just in general?
Well, I think like I like to talk about like your media diet, like your creative diet. And when I say that, I say diet because it relates really well to like food. And if you eat the same types of food, you're not going, like your whole system's going to shift to just accommodate the same stuff all the time. And if there's anything that I've learned, like going into the creative industries, is like go out and see and look at things like of all different types of like for creative stuff, like even if you're an animator, like you should be going to dance shows, you should be going to theater performances, you should be listening to spoken word, you know, but in general, like, you know, even like plowing fields can be like such an interesting sort of like influence on you. Riding horses, you know, working with animals and being out in nature. The best work that you're going to make is one that represents you. And you won't know what that is if you're just watching and consuming the same things that are made by the same people. Like you want to really just go out there and experience all the things that you love, and they will flow into what you create. You got to make sure that you're thinking of it like that and not just recreating stuff that you've seen already. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That is very true.
Gosh, we always get such good advice on this podcast, I swear. People become motivational speakers when we ask them that question every time.
Yes, you should. You should.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Yeah,
We really
thank
enjoyed
you.
speaking with you today.
Yes. Also, thank you, Foundation, for our new chairs.
And everybody go sign up for Calibraska.
Yeah.
I keep saying Cali, Nebraska.
It's going to be super fun, and you're going to have the time of your life.
Yeah.
Do you
know,
wanna-
did I mention I don't think I mentioned the Nickelodeon workshops, did I?
Let us know.
Okay, so really quick. So I also have a partnership with Nickelodeon Animation, and Tuesdays through the summer there are free Zoom workshops that you can do with them. You just Zoom in, and the first one's for younger kids, like K through 6. You get to learn how to draw characters from the shows, from people who worked on the show. And then we have an hour-long session that's for like 6th grade and up, where we get to talk to storyboard artists, visual development, like I can't think about it. Like they're puppeteers, they have puppet shows, like even some of their producers. They'll come and talk about what they do and walk you through like some of the stuff they do in the day. They're totally free. They're Tuesday afternoons all through summer, and that alone is such a great way to see people who are actively doing it. So yeah, want to do a shout out for that.
And then how do kids sign up really quick?
Yeah, so you can just go to our website. It's www.calibraska.org, and we have registration there. Hopefully we'll be putting up flyers around too. But we'd love to have everybody come in. We have a no one's turned away policy, so even if like financial stuff is an issue, like we'll get you in. And the foundation is offering really great support as far as for scholarships. So yeah, sign up. Sooner the better. It's first come, first serve. So sign up ASAP.
Perfect.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us
Yeah,
today.
thank you for having me. This was great.
Bye, Bulldog Banter.
Bye.